So for tonight, for the meeting agenda, we'll start off with a flag salute. We'll go through our normal announcements, and then we have an opportunity to meet the Canyon Country Sheriff Zone leaders. Much to the surprise of some of our speakers, we did not invite the sheriffs to protect you. You'll be fine. Don't worry about a thing. Everything is going to be just great. Then we're going to hear all about fracking from Sheriff Gilmore and Sandra Cattell. And in this last period, there was the latest Whitaker-Burmite interjurisdictional and citizen advisory group meeting. And Rick Drew will kind of give us a little update on what's happening there. You also know that if you've been coming to the meetings that there's been a lot of discussion about billboards, the chloride tax, and the city council is now on hiatus. So I'll give you a little update on what's happening there, and you'll be up to speed and know exactly what's going on. Then our version of public participation, which is the first 5 people that sign up for 1 minute, and a preview of the next several meetings. We have a lot of the next meetings already scheduled, and so that's we know what's going to be happening. One of the things I think that really intrigues me every one of these meetings is that at the start of the meeting, we always talk about someone that does something special or did something that was heroic. And I'm sure you read in the paper recently about Casey Fenwick, and he's a Stevenson Ranch resident, and he headed off, he saw some chaos and some blood going on in the ocean by where he was surfing, and he went over and he helped a victim of a shark attack. And when they asked him about it, he said, you know, I'm not really a hero. It's just there were 4 of us out there. It's just something I thought was really necessary to do. And I thought about that a lot because it seems that people that really do those kinds of things don't really think about it from a standpoint of what kind of recognition they're going to get. It's that something has to happen that's very important. And so while I was looking through about what I was going to talk about tonight, I ran into another discussion of another gentleman, of Sir Nicholas Winton, who I had never heard of. And so I want to tell you the story about Mr. Winton. In 1939, an English stockbroker, Nicholas Winton, rescued Czech children from their doomed fate in Nazi death camps, but his achievement went unrecognized for over half a century. For 50 years, most of the children to whom they owed their lives did not know for 50 years, most of the children did not know to whom they owed their lives. The story of Nicholas Winton only emerged when his wife Greta came across an old leather briefcase in an attic and found lists of children and letters from their parents. He had not even told his wife of his role during the war. Nicholas, then a 30-year-old clerk at a London stock exchange, visited Prague, Czechoslovakia in late 1938. When he arrived, the British team was working on newly erected refugee camps and asked him to lend a hand. He immediately recognized the advancing danger and courageously decided to make every effort to get the children outside the reach of Nazi power. The commission was dealing with elderly and vulnerable. People in the camps kept telling me, Mr. Winton said, that nobody was doing anything for the children. So he set up an office in his Prague hotel, and word spread of the Englishman, and parents flocked to the hotel to try to persuade him to put their children on the list, desperate to get them out before the Nazis invaded. It seemed hopeless, but Winton managed to set up an organization for Czech Kinder Transport in Prague in early 1939, before he went back to London to handle all the necessary matters from Britain. Back in London, Winton began organizing transports to get the children out of the country. He persuaded the British Home Office to let the children in. For each child, he had to find a foster parent and a 50-pound guarantee. In those days, that was a small fortune. He also had to raise money to help pay for the transports when contributions by the children's parents didn't cover the costs. In 9 months of campaigning, as the war crept closer, Nicholas Winston managed to arrange for 669 children to get out on 8 trains. Winton watched from a distance as the exhausted children piled out of the trains at London's Liverpool Street Station. They wore name tags around their necks. One by one, English foster parents collected the refugee children and took them home, keeping them safe from the war and the genocide that was about to consume their families back home. The 9th train, the biggest transport, was to leave Prague on the 30th of September in 1939, the day that Britain entered the war. But the train never left the station. Within hours of the announcement, the train disappeared. None of the 250 children on board were ever seen again. We had 250 families waiting at Liverpool station that day in vain. None of the children set to flee that day survived the following years. Later, more than 15,000 Czech children were also killed. Nicholas Winston, one of the unsung heroes of World War II, known as the Schindler of Britain, is revered as the father who saved scores of his children from Nazi death camps. In September of 2001, Nicholas Winston was the guest of honor at the film premiere of his story in Prague. Winston was invited to the launch by the Czech president, Václav Havel, around 250 of the 669 people he saved were also present at the event. Survivor Vera Grissing said, "I owe my life to him and those of my children and grandchildren. I was lucky to get out when I did, and having the chance to thank Nicky was the most precious moment in my life." The survivors, though many are now grandparents, still call themselves Winston's children. Among the children saved were Dagmar Simova, cousin of Czech-born U.S. Secretary of State Madeleine Albright. Another survivor, acclaimed director Carol Rees, 45 years later, actually met Nicholas Winston at the first reunion. I had never heard of him. I thought the Red Cross had organized it, he said. I took my children and grandchildren. I think it brought to life to them. I think it brought it alive to them to learn where their grandfather came from. It was very emotional. Sir Nicholas Winston was honored with the title of Member of the British Empire in 1983 in his charitable work with the elderly. In October 9th, 2007, Sir Nicholas Winston was awarded the Czech Republic highest military decoration, the Cross of the First Class. At a ceremony, the Czech Foreign Minister, Karel Schwarzenberg, supported the initiative of students and school children who had collected more than 32,000 signatures under a petition for Nicholas Winston being awarded the Nobel Peace Prize for the salvation of the children from Czechoslovakia. Lastly, on Tuesday, the 31st of December in 2002, Nicholas Winston was rewarded in the Queen's 2003 New Year's Honors List and received a knighthood. But for all that, Nicholas Winston insisted he wasn't anything special, adding, "I just saw what was going on and did what I could to help," saying that there are heroes all around us, and when the opportunity arises, we can only hope that we raise to that same level as Nicholas Winston and our other friend from Stevenson Ranch. And with that, Bertha, would you leave us in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. For announcements, we did have our 4th of July float in the parade, and we did again play rock and roll music to get people dancing in the street. Well, we did take 3rd place, yes we did. And we did also include the Min Canyon Moose Lodge on our float. And I gave the lodge today the picture in a frame to show them our appreciation for what they do for us. And we also remembered that it was baby's 9th birthday. She went out there, and everybody there, we take her out there so that she can see all the people that get there to celebrate her birthday. And she was extremely happy, just like she was last year. Just want to let you know that as another announcement, we did have a lot of fun on the 4th of July. But getting back to real business, at the last council meeting, it was announced that the period for applying for commission vacancies would be extended. And so one of the council members made mention that there were a small number of applicants for various commissions. And so they decided to extend the date, and the deadline will now be August the 15th at 5 p.m. And then they'll talk about it at the next council meeting, which I believe is on August the 26th. So if you're interested, you can get an application from City Clerk's office. You can go online, but I strongly suggest, if you are interested, to contact the council member who you would like to have nominate you, and make sure that you are a person that they would like to see apply. I noticed in the paper there was another discussion about CCAC, a bill that the city is supporting, a resolution 4858, and it is something that is going on at the national level to create another recreational area, which is primarily in the Los Angeles National Forest. And for some reason or another, they seem to think that this is going to help them in the CCAC battle, but realize that this only goes to the edge of the CCAC property. And they keep every year promising us they're going to solve this problem this year. So let's see what happens. But if you're interested in it, Luke Money wrote an article. It's in the Signal on July 12th from 2014. And these things are online if you want to see them. Something that's more germane to what's happening today was CLWA's water rate increase was rejected in court. And this is one of those deals that makes the hair on the back of my neck go up. You know, I believe that CLWA, Southern California Edison, all the utilities, they're service providers. They provide us service. And they always tell us, you know what, you only pay for what you use. Well, in this case, what's happening is CLWA decided that they were going to impose a fee. It could be called a fee. The judge called it a tax. So that even if you didn't buy the water from them, you still had to pay the fee so they could maintain their infrastructure. So that basically says that if you use more water, you get to pay more. If you use less water, you get to pay more. There's something in there that's common. I think we'll figure it out pretty soon. So what happened is that Newhall County Water District took it to court, and these are quotes from Steve Cole. CLWA tried to charge each of the Santa Cruz Valley water retailers a fixed rate for imported water. However, the fixed rate was charged regardless of the amount of imported water needed to be used by our customers or retailers. We're happy with the decision. We asked the agency for changes to the rate hike, and they needed to design a rate that treated customers fairly, one that recognized our customers' historic investment in groundwater, because most of the water that Newhall Water Company provides is groundwater. So there it goes. Any savings, and they claimed that any savings that they get based upon this decision would be passed on through to the district's customers. And I think that's a good thing. But then I went on and I read a little bit more, and CLWA had to chime in. It's our friend Dan Masnada, and Dan is the guy that for so long was trying to push the chloride solution, where he wanted to drag out 6 million gallons a day from the Saugus aquifer and then pump it downstream. And he said, the judge's ruling is a cheap shot, inappropriate and uncalled for. The judge rules against us, but they just won the battle. The war is not over yet. The new rate structure achieved revenue stability for us as an agency, meaning no matter whether we sell you water or we don't sell you water, you're still going to pay us. And then the last statement was something that I read over and over and over again, finally had to go get the definition of the word. Still can't figure out what he's trying to say. The new rate structure is more fair and promotes conjunctive use of water. Well, conjunctive means to connect something or connecting things together. So I don't know what it's connecting, except that I figure it connects the water to his paycheck. Yeah. So we'll have to wait and see. Now I'm wondering if there's more of this to follow, because I don't know how there's other water retailers in our valley, and I don't know what this means to them. I don't know if there is additional fees that were put on your water bill that now have to come off, and so we need to see what happens with the rest of this discussion. Concerts in the park. Did anybody go to the first one, to the DSB? Hey, there's a hand. There's a couple. You have a good time?
45 minutes to get out.
45 minutes to get out. Well, there you go. Anyway, it's a little bit of a photo from there, and you can see the concerts in the park will be continuing, and there's a whole bunch of them. So if you want to have a good time, and are they charging for parking now? No. Okay, good.
VIP parking.
Huh?
VIP parking.
Oh, VIP is okay, but for regular peasant parking, there's no charge. Okay. Also, by the way, we have some interesting people with us today. We have Moazem Chowdhury, and you're part of this Santa Clarita World's Fair Festival, aren't you? Yes. Can you say just a couple of words about it? Hold on. We need a microphone.
Yeah, we're having a World Fair. The location is Hart Park, New Hall, and a few community like Hispanic community, Filipino community, and Bangladeshi community is getting together. Some of the event. There will be a lot of foods and fun, a lot of booths and music, dance. Just showcase of some of the multicultural activity around the event. So please all welcome. It will be 11 o'clock on Saturday, July 19th, 11 to 5 p.m. So please everybody welcome to enjoy the event.
Thank you. By the way, we have a lot of other fascinating, interesting people here tonight. I see Tony Strickland back there. He's running for Congress. I'm sure Tony would be happy to answer any questions later. You want to say 2 words? Say hi.
I'm a big fan of Alan. Thank you. Looking forward to meeting each and every one of you. Just here to learn about the issues you guys are talking about and have a dialogue. So thank you so much for the invitation. Happy to be here.
Well, thank you. And remember, we reminded you last meeting, we'll remind you again at the end of this meeting, in September, both Tony and Knight and Mr. Knight will be here, and we're going to have a meet and greet, and you can ask them questions, so that'll be an interesting time to go. Also, Philip Solomon is here from the Samuel Dixon Health Care Center. Stand up, Phil. And so Phil knows everything that you need to know about ducks. And he told me specifically, don't eat the rubber ones.
Yeah, Alan's been a big supporter of our annual rubber ducky event that we're having this year, October 4th at Bridgeport Park. Last year he was very creative in having commercials that he made for us to promote the event. So he's part of our planning committee this year, and he invited me here today to meet all of you and be part of this. So I appreciate being here today and having you have me here. But October 4th, 11 to 3 at Bridgeport Park will be our event. And I'll have just little reminder flyers to give to anyone who's interested. And just one more thing, we're doing something a little different this year. For every duck adopted, we have a grand prize of $2,500, and we have other prizes as well as that. But for every duck adopted, if you have anyone that is part of another nonprofit organization or grandkids or kids that are part of some organization that does any kind of fundraising for their group that they're involved in, for every $5 duck adoption, we're giving back $1 to that group. So on these little flyers I have, there's a contact person at our agency that you could set up your team, and at the end of the adoption period, say if that team had $500 of duck adoptions, then we're going to give $100 back to that club or organization as part of their fundraiser as well. So in helping support us for what we do here in Santa Cruz with providing health care to the uninsured for the past 30 years, we want to give a little something back to those that are supporting us with this fundraising event.
Okay. We might bring that up at our next board meeting. There you go. Hey, we're going to have a beach party. We're going to have a beach party. There's going to be sand and bands and food trucks. And so the city government has finally figured out that there's something on the east side of Bouquet Canyon. So this is going to be on Luther. It's going to be on Luther right next to between Edwards and the McDonald's, and they're going to block off the street. And so on the 25th from 6 to 10, it's going to be free. Have a good time. Let's all go over there and enjoy the beach party. They might have Beach Boys music. Who knows? River Rally. We're signed up for the River Rally. River Rally will be Saturday, September the 20th. If you're interested in participating with us, we always have a good time. We set up a booth and hand out candy to the kids and passports to Canyon Country, because this won't be in Canyon Country. So we'll just sit there and we'll make sure that people know where it is. We were just talking about the Rubber Ducky Regatta. Save that date. That's Saturday, October the 4th. And I just wanted you to know that duck that won last year has retired. So you don't have to worry about anybody putting a ringer in to win the grand prize. Attendance has been rather flat. Actually, I'm really happy to see the attendance tonight, because we've been going to a lot of meetings lately, and we've been watching the attendance falter in almost all of them. I want you to know that if you're looking at these numbers, that when it came to the 6 informational meetings that the sanitation district put on, they put on 6 informational meetings and they came here, we had more people here than at any of their meetings. So we kind of set the record. So we'll see if we can just keep on working it. Video activity, no one seemed too interested in the chloride or the board issues last at these videos, and I think it's because people are they're numb. And the decisions have sort of been made, and we'll continue on to track and see what people are. All right, here's what's coming on the next meeting. Next month, we're going to have a presentation from the Keystone Project, which is taking place by Ermine. We've had several people that have asked for those presentations, and we'll see what's happening. Also, we want to talk about landscape medians. I met with Ken Striplin and Darren Hernandez last Tuesday, and we discussed, made sure that we're all on the same page of how the medians are paid for and what their current median plan is, although it doesn't have a timeline, but what the plan is. And so we want to talk about it a little bit and let you understand how what we would like to do is help them, because they're claiming that for the newer medians that are having problems either with dead plants or with whatever, their trees coming down or whatever, they want to replace them. So we're going to talk about how we're going to report them, and then we'd like to track them to see just how long it takes for things to get done. In September 2014, we'll have the Congress candidate meet and greet with Steve Knight and Tony Strickland. And we're going to use our typical meet and greet format. We're talking about whether to give the guys a little more time, but there'll be a section for them to introduce themselves and tell them about themselves, and then a portion of time where we'll have that microphone up in front of the room and you can go ask them a question. Just to make sure that they do not get sabotaged, we're going to set up some ground rules, kind of like normal. One where I won't ask them questions. The other candidates may not ask other candidates questions. And I'm going to propose that in addition to that, Any elected official cannot ask them questions. We want questions to come from you, the public. Yes?
I'd also suggest that you actually caution people to ask questions, because last candidate series, there were a lot of people that were making statements, and very prolonged, lengthy statements. Questions from the audience, not statements.
Yes, absolutely. That's what we asked for. And we had a moderator last time, and we'll have a moderator this time that will shut people down from doing monologues. On October of 2014, sheriff's candidates will be out here, Jim McDonald and Paul Tanaka, and they will also talk with one another. Hopefully sometime in that September-October timeframe, we'll be able to get representatives from the two sides of the billboard issue that are running in two campaigns, and we'll let them go at each other and see what happens. Right there, sometime toward the end of the year, and the reason why I'm putting this off is because there are discussions about a business improvement district in Newhall. There are people that are opposed to it, there are people that are for it, and as it becomes more, as the plan comes more to fruition, we're going to talk about it some more, and so you understand what a business improvement district is. But it is, again, another way for you to tax yourself. But in this case, the tax money would be in a business improvement district. The tax money is expended by the committee that of property owners in the district that I guess that are elected or appointed to handle that money. So we'll bring that to you as well. So I want to thank you very much for choosing to attend the Canyon Country Advisory Committee again this July, and I hope to see you all back here in August. So thank you guys. We'll talk to you soon.